Welcome to Absolute Pursuit, the podcast for founders, leaders, and entrepreneurs who are ready to level up their business and life. I'm your host, Jason McDermott, and each week we're going to explore the strategies, principles, and mindset shifts that drive true leadership and success. So get ready to take the next step in your leadership journey because your absolute pursuit starts now. Hey everybody, thank you for listening in. This is Jason McDermott, and yes, this is 2025, and I tell you what, me and my guest Clay here have already had some trouble, so hopefully we're not going to record this 10 different times and waste my friend's time here, so hopefully we'll get this party started right today. Well, I already kind of told you, my name is Jason, and my guest today is Clay Lawrence, and he's got something great to talk about, something that I've always kind of talked about with some of the people that I work with, some of the small business owners and actually large businesses as well too. And that's reviews and how important reviews are. And I met Clay online. He had a post and talking about, how important reviews were for companies. And anyways, that kind of led us to this podcast. So welcome, Clay. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great. Stoked to be on.
Good. All right. So let's do this again. I know we've already went through an intro 500 times, but we're going to do another one. So tell me about yourself, Clay. Who are you?
Yeah, for sure. No, my name's Clay. I live down in Florida, the Panhandle of Florida, so very close to the beach, which is nice. We get some decent weather, even though it's cold here, freezing cold here today. But so I grew up. In high school, I started helping local business owners around here with marketing. Hated it at first. It was awful. I thought my first client I ever got after I think reaching out to 300 people. It was awful. I did a terrible job. They didn't like me. And I was like, I'm never doing that ever again. And so over time, I just kind of stuck with it and kind of got back on the wagon. And then when I got to college, I went to the University of Florida. I only had 2 years left to college, so I graduated when I was 20. But I only had 2 years left, and while I was there, I was like, I'm gonna get the bare minimum in the grades just to pass, and I'm just gonna focus all my time on my agency and helping local businesses with marketing. And so back then, I was taking anybody that had a credit card, and I would do anything for them, whether it was run ads, build their website, shoot a commercial, whatever they wanted me to do, I would do. And then when I graduated college in 2022, I was doing well enough to not have to get a job and just continue to work on my agency. But after doing that for another year, I just kind of was getting to the point where I was like, I don't know how I can grow this thing anymore. I'm doing 10 different things for 10 different people. I can't hire somebody to do 10 different things, and I'm not charging enough to pay somebody to do 10 different things or pay 10 people to do one thing. And so that's when, I said the one thing they all have in common, my wife actually was one that told me this, but the one thing that I do for all of them that they all like was just help them get Google reviews. So it was, I had my process down of how to get them really great results, and it was very valuable to them. And, I really believed in it. And so I was like, let's just rebrand and just focus on Google reviews. So I rebranded to Review Harvest, and now about almost 18 months later, I have about 170 active clients that we help get local, get Google reviews for, and most of them are home service local business owners. So, yeah.
Great. Love it. I have literally 5 million questions we could talk about on that. But yeah, I mean, let's first talk about, I guess your history. I mean, how come, I don't know, it just kind of seems like I don't want to say a lot of young people, but people want to do marketing for companies, right? And especially even some of the companies that I work with, may be, a generation that, they don't understand the online marketing as well as a younger generation. So I think it's a great opportunity for the younger generation. However, you mentioned definitely that you were getting burned out and you hate it because, I mean, you're kind of trading your time for money. It's kind of sometimes hard to scale, right? I mean, but tell me, why did you kind of talked, but before when we were starting earlier, and I had to cut it off, unfortunately, but you're also talking about, Facebook, ads, and boy, those are brutal. Facebook ads, especially, since all the changes, with Apple doing the whole security stuff, and that stuff's always changing. And you were kind of mentioned you even hated that. That's just so hard. So how come you didn't stay with marketing? What made it so bad for you?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, a lot of it was I just wasn't good enough, and I didn't have the knowledge to build it the right way. I mean, I think that marketing agencies are great. I think that it's still a great business model and it's still a great opportunity for people. And it still makes sense sometimes for local business owners to work with marketing agencies, right? But what I always recommend is work with a marketing agency that serves you, serves your type of client, or they serve the specific activity that you're wanting them to do. And I was just spread way too thin, right?
Right.
I was working for any sort of industry. So whether it was a restaurant, whether it was a boat rental company, whether it was a plumber, and I would do anything for them. It wasn't even like I had the common thing of I do Google ads or Facebook ads for all of them. It was like I do anything for anybody. And
Right.
so figuring out how to get 10 different people results doing 10 different things is very difficult. And so I sure could have made it work. I just, the way I was doing the things was not going to work, and it would have been hard. And so that's when I was like, I'm just going to kind of try and simplify this business and just kind of pour gasoline on what already does work, which
That
was the Google reviews.
I love it. Okay, I love it. Well, and I think, well, of course, Google reviews is marketing, right? But I love it. You just,
Yeah, yeah.
you niche down, which I think's, I think's important. That's definitely, you found kind of something. So tell me, why Google reviews? I mean, of course, we're going to get knee deep into why it's important for businesses and what they can do, but why Google reviews? How come you didn't lean into, I don't know, pay per clicks or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to focus on Google reviews was because I think that it's probably the highest leverage marketing activity that a small business, a local business owner can do. The reason being is because when you get a review, that review is going to stay on Google for pretty much forever, unless Google changes things, which I don't really think they are, but it's going to stay on Google forever. So that means it's going to be working for you forever. So if you get a really solid review, think about that review as like a little employee that's sitting on your Google business profile page. And when somebody's scrolling through it, they're like, this person's doing the selling for you, right? And so when you get all those reviews, you're going to increase your awareness on Google, because obviously businesses that have more reviews rank higher on Google. And now also, when you get that additional attention, you get those additional eyeballs, you're going to do a better job of converting them because you look like the no-brainer option, right?
Right.
I've got a client down here in Florida who they have over 600, they have 600 more reviews than any of their competitors. And they take up about 35% of the market in an industry that has about 50 business owners. And it's
Love
because
it.
when people go to Google to find their sort of business. And then when they go to Google, they choose them because they have 600 more reviews than anybody else. Why would they not? Right. So they
Right.
get the first call, they get the first website click out of anybody. And so, yeah, I think it's a super high leverage marketing activity that all business owners should be doing.
No, it's funny. I talk about this a lot with some of my clients. Sometimes people don't realize that reviews move them up in the search. I mean, organically,
Yeah.
definitely. Of course, you can
Yeah.
pay to get to the top. I mean, but even some people don't
Yeah.
even know that. But that what brings them up, right? So I think it's crucial that and again, I work with a lot of small businesses here in my local town as well too, and sometimes they don't understand that, or they don't understand if they get a bad review, which we'll talk about here in a minute, how that can reflect
Yeah.
them. So I guess tell me, with that guy with 600 reviews, I'm assuming like you said, he gets placed on the first page, right, in his service. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's, I think it's one of those things. It's a difficult concept just to understand because it's not super black and white, right? So Google's ranking algorithm, SEO as people call it, search engine optimization, is made up of 140 to 150, or depending on who you ask, 140 to 150 search factors, right? So that could be how many words you have on your website. It could be the type of words you have on your website. It could be how many other websites are pointing to your website. It could be your reviews. There are so many different, criteria and factor things that factor into how you rank on Google. But when it comes to the local map pack, when it comes to what, they call it the map pack, the top 3 Google business profiles that pop up right there, they get a lot of the clicks and a lot of the calls. And 15 to 20, once again, depending on what SEO research company you go look at, 15 to 20% of that ranking is based on your Google reviews.
Love
And
it.
so another thing to remember is that not all Google reviews are created equal. And so there's different criteria when it comes to reviews in terms of how important they are, right? So a review you got yesterday is a lot more valuable to Google and their search algorithm than a review you got 2 years ago. So review recency is a criteria they look at.
Love it.
Review consistency or review velocity. How frequently are you getting reviews? Are you getting reviews every week? Because if you might have 100 or 50 more reviews than your competitors, but if you haven't gotten a review in 6, 7, 8 months, then those businesses that are frequently getting reviews, their review velocity is going to be higher, and they're gonna get a leg up on you in that category. And then there's more like obviously the star rating, how people are giving you 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. And then also there's keywords in the actual review. Are they including like plumbing? Are they including HVAC? Are they including the city name? And then the last thing is the quantity, just how many you have. And so those are kind of the criteria of how they're rated in Google's eyes.
I love it. It's funny. You're a marketing guy. I can tell already. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
You would
yeah.
go over a lot of businesses' head. A lot
People's
of brick and
heads.
mortar.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But it's good because I don't think a lot of business owners, and hopefully some that are listening, understand how important reviews are. I mean, you said a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that I've heard in the past as far as how frequent are your reviews? I mean, you have a business
Mm-hmm.
that may have 4 reviews, but they're most recent. Then you might have a business that has 20 reviews, but they haven't had a review in over 6 months. And so me as a
Yeah.
consumer, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I wonder why. Have they been doing something bad, or are
Mm-hmm.
they not having their customers reach out? I mean, do you see this a lot as well? Do you think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
important?
for sure. I mean, not if you don't have reviews in 6 months, it looks like you're not in business. I mean,
Right.
if you have 100 reviews and you haven't had a review in 6 months, I mean, some people are going to look at that, like, well, and it's not everybody. You're going to have the percentage of people that just like glance at the highlights, how many reviews you have, whatever, and they just click to call. Um, but yeah, I mean, having those reviews consistently is very important.
Okay, so now let's talk about something that while you've been talking this whole time, I'm thinking, okay, how do you deal with this? And I know a lot of businesses have this. And actually, I'm working with business now, and he is so adamant about bad reviews. He will actually contact, the customer and ask why
Mm,
they left this bad review,
mm,
if there's something he can
mm.
do, if they remove the review. And honestly, he's actually successful with doing that most of the time. So tell me,
Yeah.
let's talk about bad reviews. The most important thing I think a business owner, how do they get rid of bad reviews? How would a business owner get rid of one?
Yeah, for sure. So, in terms of getting rid of Google reviews, there's really no surefire way to do it except for getting that person that left the review to take it down. So, that's like the only surefire 100% way that you can get a Google review removed. There's kind of two ways you can go about it. You can report, you can click on the 3 dots next to the review and you click on report, and you can do like spam or off topic or whatever. And you can get other people to try and do that too. And that, gives you some more at bats, I guess, to get it taken down, but it's not necessarily going to, it's not, you don't have a very good chance of it getting taken down. Google's pretty slow with that, and I'd say the success rate there is normally like less than 10%, just in my experience.
Okay.
The other thing that you can do is you can go to Google Business Profile / help or whatever, I think, and you can raise a case. And so basically, you can raise a case to Google where you build an argument and you provide proof of why this review needs to get taken down. Once again, that is a very intense process, still not a very high success rate. And so, there's services out there that will charge thousands of dollars to remove one review. But what I like to do is I like to, one, um, shower it with 5 star reviews. So just bury it in 5 star reviews from other customers.
Boom.
And
Yeah.
two, allow that 1 star review to add validity to all your other 5 star reviews, right? If you're looking at a business that only has 300 reviews and they're only 4 and 5 star reviews, and they have 0 1 stars, there's going to be a certain percentage of consumers that look at that as fishy. They're going to be like, oh, well, then only the 5 stars can get through. They're doing something wrong here if nobody's left a bad review. But if you have a couple 1 stars or 2 stars or 3 stars, it shows that it's possible for those reviews to come through. And so it adds validity and makes the rest of your reviews more convincing.
Which I love, right? Because I mean, nobody's perfect, right? So I mean, nobody wants to see,
Yeah.
100% 5-star reviews. I mean, because again, that's
Yeah.
so. All right, so tell me what could, well, for one, you said something that rang another bell in my ear. Shocking, I know, but I know some businesses don't even have a Google profile, business profile. I mean,
Yeah.
is is that
Yeah.
where a business should? It's super easy, right? I mean, I know you
Oh
know how
my
to do it, but
goodness.
I mean, even it's so easy to set up a Google profile. There's a lot of businesses, and I
Yes.
know some people listening are like that's absurd, but no, absolutely, it's very true. So, would you recommend
Yeah.
that's the first thing a business does if they wanted to start this process?
Yeah, I mean, you can't even get Google reviews without a Google Business Profile. So the first thing, go to googlebusinessprofile.com and start or Google/business, I think, and start a Google Business Profile. It takes 3 or 4 minutes nowadays. It can be a little bit tricky with the verification. They're
Yep.
trying to crack down on people creating additional listings and stuff like that, but it's not impossible. And if you're a service area business and you list that clearly, there's a good chance they're not going to be as hard on you, and it'll be a lot easier for you to get verified than say a brick and mortar with a location,
Yep.
right? But yeah, so start there, get a Google Business Profile, and then from there, just go grab your Google review link. Obviously, put in all your information, put your logo, stuff like that, but just grab that Google review link and save it in your phone. And that way, when you're with the customer, you can just text it over to them or email it over to them, and they have the direct link to leave a review. Because just like a lot of business owners don't even have a Google Business Profile or know how to create a Google Business Profile, there are millions of consumers that have no idea how to leave a Google review. And so we have to send them the direct link so they can go leave the review, right? Just
Right.
telling somebody, oh, go leave me a Google review. And they're like, oh, sure. Some people might not even know how to do it, you
Right.
know?
Oh, they
And so
forget,
give them
like
the
you
direct
said.
link.
Right. It's funny you said that. I think that's actually probably the biggest problem, right? Is I think businesses just assume that people are just going to leave them a review. Doesn't say anything to them. Don't say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, send me some feedback or give me a review. Or, if you have a problem, call the office and then ask to give a review. So, is that what you recommend? Like, let's just say, I'm trying to think of a good business. Let's talk landscape business. If you're a small mom and
Yeah.
pop landscape business, again, I'm not going to talk a huge company, but just say, maybe a company of two people, two landscapers. What would
Mm-hmm.
you suggest they do? Like you said, just carry their phone and hand a phone to a customer?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on customer volume. I
Right.
think it's one of those things. If you're doing a job a week or a couple jobs a month and you're doing like bigger jobs, then it doesn't really it might not make sense to like invest in a review automation service or like a review software that's going to help you automatically request and respond and repurpose all these reviews. And so, yeah, I would say grab the link, and then when you finish up the job, talk to the customer, fill out how they did, ask them how you did, what you can do to improve. And if they had a great experience, just go ahead and send over that review link. And I think what I would say the biggest mistake that business owners make is that they take when the customer says, "Hey, yeah, I'll leave him a review." They ask. I know a lot of businesses that do ask for reviews, but then the customers never actually end up leaving it. And it's because people are busy. Even if you text and email them, they forget. It's because people are busy. And then I think a big flaw is that a lot of these business owners are like, "Oh, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to bug them. I don't want to follow up. I don't want to text or email them again." I'm like, I mean, I come from the standpoint of sure, you might bug 5% or less of those
Right.
customers. But if you did a good job, they genuinely probably want to leave you a review and they just forgot, right? And so if you did a good job, they're more than willing to leave you a review. They're just busy. They got to take Timmy to soccer practice and cook and mow the yard and do all the stuff. And so you just need to text them and email them again and follow up to get them to leave you a review. But people are so scared about bugging their customers that they don't follow up. And so,
Right.
yeah, send that link over via text and email and make sure to follow up in a couple days.
I agree. I think people are nervous just because, the spam out there, I guess. People are getting bombarded with spam. So I get that for sure as a consumer. However, I have seen other businesses, offer, incentives, either, hey, leave this review and we'll give you a discount on, your next carpet cleaning, or we'll give you a discount on your next, service. Do you see that a lot with some of your customers? Do you see them
Oh
incentivizing
yeah.
reviews?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that's incentivizing reviews is one thing that Google's gonna always it's always gonna be against Google's terms and conditions, but I don't think Google's ever gonna be able to eradicate it. I mean, I've talked to thousands of local business owners about Google reviews, and
Right.
I'd probably say half of them offer either a discount, a percentage off this invoice, a percentage off the next invoice, a gift card, cash. I've talked to probably 5, 10, 15 people that have told me, oh yeah, we give out $50 gas cards, like gas gift cards to people if they leave us a review right on the spot.
That's
And
amazing.
so, yeah, and so I mean, for me, from my perspective, it's against Google's terms to incentivize against Google and to incentivize Google reviews. At Review Harvest, we're kind of a tool. You can use the tool however you want to. We'll tell you what the risks of incentivizing reviews are, but Google doesn't do a great job of cracking down on people incentivizing reviews. So if they never crack down on it, why would you not do it,
Right.
right? And it's one thing to be dishonest, and it's one thing to there's certain industries like anybody in the healthcare space, you probably shouldn't. You should probably get genuine reviews. Anybody in like, these spaces with you're playing with some really important, sensitive information, stuff like that.
Right.
You want to make sure your online reputation is an accurate representation of what service they're going to receive.
You bet.
But we all know as business owners, sometimes we get the short end of the stick when it comes to bad reviews. You can the activation energy that requires to leave a review. Somebody can have a great experience with you and not leave a review. But if
Right.
someone has a bad experience to you, they're going to leave you a bad review and they're going to hold you hostage for that review until you give them a refund or something like that.
Love it.
And so since Google's not responsive, it's not a very fair game to the business owners either. And so, and certain points, the consumer's deck is stacked in their favor. And so, incentivizing for reviews, if the business owner wants to do it, it works. So,
Love it. I agree. What's funny is you said something that I agree 100,000% is someone has a bad experience, absolutely, probably 80%, they're going to leave a review, a bad review.
yeah,
Whereas, like you said,
yeah,
people that have a great experience, they get busy. They're not going to think to leave a
yep,
review. So I definitely think it's important that business owners, jump in and try to get those positive reviews. And as far as incentivizing, definitely I would not recommend businesses incentivizing for a positive review. I'm just more or less talking about, making sure that they,
yeah, just a
incentivize,
review.
just leave me a review. If it's bad, hopefully let me know what happened before you leave it. And if it's positive, of course,
Yeah,
leave a review for sure. Okay. So let's talk about what you do. Why would a business owner come to you? Review Harvest. Tell me about it.
yeah, for sure. So, Review Harvest, we do three things: we request reviews, we respond to reviews, and we repurpose reviews. And so, our main kind of ideal client right now is a home service business. And this is a home service business that's not necessarily that's doing a decent amount of volume where they don't want to have to pay somebody on their staff or have to manually themselves send out 5, 10, 15 review requests a week, right? And remember to follow up and check. And so what we do is we request reviews with a personalized image. So we can grab a photo of your team, a photo of your technicians, a photo of your office, your logo, your trucks, whatever, and we can auto populate your end customer's name on an image. So let's say you own a plumbing company and you have a technician named John, and John goes and serves Sally, right? When John leaves after serving Sally, Sally's going to get a photo of John holding an iPad with Sally's name on it, right? So it's going to be a personalized image that gets her attention and it reminds her to leave a review. And so we're going to track whether they've left a review, whether they've clicked the link to leave a review, and we'll follow up accordingly. And then once you
Great.
actually get the review, we'll respond to it for you. So we'll respond to it in a personalized manner using their name, using context from the review. And then also we will repurpose the review. So we'll turn this 5-star review into social media content using your logo, your branding, your colors. And we'll also give you little widgets that you can embed onto your site. So anybody scrolling through your site can see all the reviews and happy customers you have. And one thing that we do at Review Harvest is that anytime any of our clients gets a review, we donate a meal to Feeding America. And so that's nothing you have to pay for. We track it, we manage it. It's just part of working with us. We've donated over 30,000 meals to Feeding America in 2024. And so it's just a fun thing that we like to do to help give back.
Oh man, that's awesome. What's funny, you said Feeding America. That's actually one of my favorite places to donate. That's awesome. I didn't know you did that. That's great.
Yeah.
I even like you more.
Yeah.
That's great. You talked about something that you guys do that we haven't even talked about, and that's repurposing reviews. I mean, that's huge,
Yeah.
right? That's given social proof. That's on websites, on social media. That's huge. What a great service you guys are offering, and I think it's great. I actually did see your website. Actually, I like your website, by the way. It's great. So
Thank
tell
you.
me, if a business is interested or just want to check out your services, where can it go?
Yeah, they can just find us reviewharvest.com.
Okay,
Super simple. So just reviewharvest.com. You can get there. You can get started for free. 14-day free trial, and we have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if it doesn't work, we could care less about the money. We'll just give it back. We just want to help local business owners get reviews.
that's great. That's great. And plus, I like what you said too, that you guys kind of already get rid of that hurdle of trying to remember or that awkwardness. Like, I don't want to bug the customer. You guys kind of do that for
Yeah.
them. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, no,
that's
I
great.
mean, it's a pain for a business owner to have to go and remember, okay, what job did I do? Okay, did that person leave a review yet? Should I text them how good of an experience they had? We're going to track whether they've left a review, whether they've clicked the link to leave a review, whether they've opened the email, all that type of stuff. And so we'll follow up accordingly, and based on how aggressive or not aggressive the business owner wants to be.
That's great. Okay, so give me if hopefully I'm not putting you on the spot. Give me a good, you know, best case scenario like that you've had, like maybe John's Plumbing, had one review, and then after that, he's had to hire 10 more people, right? I mean, that's basically what a business owner wants, right? They want more business, hire more people, grow their business. So tell me how you
Yeah.
have helped facilitate that, if you can think of an example.
Yeah, no, for sure. A couple examples. So one client locally, they're a golf cart rental company, and when I got started working with them, they had 12 reviews, a 4.6 star rating, and he was kind of like, I don't really think Google reviews are important. Like I'm doing all right. I think he had about 50 carts that he was renting out at the time, and over the course of now, I guess almost a year and a half now, he has 1,100, almost 1,100 Google reviews now, and
Wow.
he has 100, he has over, I think he has 110 golf carts that he rents out. So he's almost doubled his business. And a lot of that is because when I started working with him, he was doing great, but he wasn't taking advantage of any sort of on like Google marketing. Like all of his marketing was like he was getting in with big vacation rental companies and just like making partnerships and stuff. He wasn't taking advantage of everybody else that was just going to Google and looking up a golf cart rental company. And so we were able to make him the no-brainer option on Google. And honestly, there's like 15 or 20 examples of that same exact thing. If you go to reviewharvest.com/results, you can see a bunch of video testimonials and stuff just like that. But yeah, it's crazy.
That's great. That's funny. Yeah, talk about return on investment. Yeah, that's that's great. A golf cart
Yeah.
renting company. That's interesting. But yeah, that's an interesting business in itself. Oh, that's great, man. Well, and again, so one more time, Clay, if somebody is interested in your services, they can go to reviewharvest.com. Is that correct?
Yep. That's
All right.
correct.
That's great. All right. So let me think here if I have any pressing questions for you. I know we've talked all about reviews. Okay, I'll ask just a quick question. So, if you had any advice for, because you're a young guy, I know my audience can't see you,
Yeah.
but I can see you. You're a young guy. So,
Yeah.
if you had any advice for any younger entrepreneurs out there, or I think one of my questions I sent you a while back, or like, what would you tell your younger self if you had one thing to
Yeah.
tell?
What I would tell my younger self in high school, like 5 or 6 years ago, I would tell him to pick something and stick to it. And I would also tell him to deliberate longer while he picks. For about the first 3 years of my entrepreneurship journey, I kind of hopped from thing to thing. I did the marketing agency, but the marketing agency was just like a capsule for me to decide what to do. Because I was like, okay, I'm going to work with photographers, and I would only work with photographers, and I work with like three. And I was like, nope, I don't need to do that. I need to build websites, and then I jump to the next thing. And every time you jump, you have to restart. And so I would tell him to think more about what he's picking. And in the beginning, you're going to have to get your feet wet, and you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to try different things and figure out what you like. But once you decide, stick to it and really really give it all you got for as long as you can, because the only time I've ever made real progress in my business is after I focused on it for over a year. And so which sounds like this sounds like a no-brainer, right? It's like
Yeah,
obvious, like of course you have to do something for a year to like make any real progress, but in the moment you just think you need to hop from thing to thing, but you just end up starting over, and the next thing you know you're 40 years old and you had never made really any progress on anything. And that was my biggest fear, and so I'm glad that I finally stuck to something. So just focus.
I love it, Clay. I love it. That's great advice, my friend. Well, Clay, thanks again. You guys, if anybody listening, you guys are interested in Clay's service, you should actually just check him out. Reviewharvest.com. Clay, thanks again for coming on the show, and thanks for your time. And yeah, hopefully everyone, gets a lot of good review advice from Clay here. Thanks, Clay. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.